the downloads. Welcome, comadres, to the current full moon report. And I see a birthday girl here in the audience. We'll get to you really soon. As a reminder for anyone who is here live, we'll stay on afterwards for questions. Anyone who's watching the replay, we're so excited that you get to receive this download and these messages, and always feel free to contact me through Mighty Networks for questions. And today we have a full moon in Cancer. So this is a big deal for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's our first full moon of the year. So we get to really marinate in full moon energy. But the biggest thing that, the first thing that came up for me is the moon rules Cancer. So we have the sign that the moon rules as the full moon energy. So what that means is we have an opportunity to nourish our emotions, because in a lot of traditions, the moon is seen as our emotions. And at the same time, when you really dig into the symbolism, the meaning of the moon in your own personal life, the moon is how you nourish yourself. And I know a lot of us are in a space where we get to pull in the nourishing experiences. And so when we have the moon, our nourishment, our provider, like our emotional provider in the sign of Cancer, what we are being given the opportunity today and for the next 48 hours, comadres, is we're being given the opportunity to nourish our divine feminine, our feminine energy, flowing, being versus doing, being in the flow. And if you were in Cafecito this morning, there was a lot of that. Like, we get to be, we get to flow. It's not about the mechanics. And the other beautiful thing that I saw when I saw where the moon right now is aspecting. So when it's in a trine, which is a favorable aspect to Neptune. And if you don't know about Neptune, Neptune is the planet of our dreams. So when I see the moon is our nurturer, flowing, emoting, nourishing, and at the same time it's trining, which is a really, so there are a lot of aspects. I'm not sure if you as comadres know all the aspects. It's difficult to know them all, right? But when we look at things like positive, like good, juicy energy of aspecting in a chart, it's the trine is the most juicy, like favorable one, followed by sextile. So we have the moon in a beautiful stance with Neptune in Pisces. And I get so excited, and you're all, Ilona, why are you so excited? Because Neptune is a planet of our dreams. And Pisces is the planet, I mean, the sign that Neptune rules. So it's like your dreams upon dreams is being in trine in a favorable aspect with your emotions upon what you get to nourish within your emotions, what you get to nourish for yourself. So when we have this combination, it's basically the opportunity to say, hey, I get to, give me 1 second, let me see if I can mute anyone who's not on mute. I'm just going to ask a quick favor. If you're not on mute, just mute yourself for a moment until we get to the Q&A. So think about it. We're being asked to nourish ourselves, to go with the flow, to nourish our feminine, creative, intuitive side. And we're also being put in a position to really get in tune with our dreams. And it makes me think of the comadres word of the month, vision. Here we are. Do you know what your dream is? Do you know where you want to go? Do you know where you want to put your rose-colored glass and say, this is where I want to romanticize my life? Now, every sign has its high expression. Every sign has its more, less favorable expression. But in its highest expression, Pisces is romantic. Pisces is a dreamer. Pisces connects us to like the bigger purpose, not just like being in the meat suit in this lifetime. And so I think this new moon is giving us the opportunity to nourish our dreams in a big way. Now, we're going to have a little bit of an ego challenge. I would give me a response with your reactions. If you're hearing this and you're saying, Ilona, that does, I get it rationally, but I don't know how to do that. And I would say that I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of us are saying, yeah, that sounds great, and I don't know how to do that, because the moon in Cancer. So also, don't know if you know, but every full moon is the sign opposite to where the sun is. So while we have the moon in Cancer saying we get to nourish, we get to flow, we get to be in our divine feminine, we are in opposition with the sun being us, ego, how I see myself. And the sun is in Capricorn right now, y'all. And Capricorn is the father figure of the zodiac. It is the patriarchy. It's the let's get job done. Let's do the thing. But we're being asked to look at what our ego is saying to do, and understand that we get to do things, but we get to do that by nourishing the flow. We're not going to be able to create what we want to create, that which Capricorn gives us the access to, if we do not access nourishing the flow, nourishing the intuition, nourishing going with the wave. And I would also say that this is an opportunity for you to release any emotion, tap into your emotion. For example, in human design, for those of you who know about your arrow determinations, if you have a non-specific determination, if you have a non-specific manifesting arrow, it is not about knowing exactly what you're going to do. It is about tapping into the feeling of what you get to create, so that you can begin to materialize into the third dimension from the fifth dimension what you want to create. So this is a very, in my opinion, an opportunity to begin to tap in to what do I want to create, and how do I get to nourish my feelings and my dreams in that creation. I think, a lot of times we create because our brain says I have to do this, rather than what do I feel that I get to do? What do I dream about creating? How do I feel about my dreams? This is a very big, tap your feelings into your dreams to create the life you want. And what a better energy for our first full moon and manifest and flow into. That's why I love how one of our comadres, Kimberly, just came out of a bath before coming in here, right? Because she's literally marinating in the element, both of Pisces and Cancer, to bring in what we're calling forth. Now, it gets better when it comes to the opposition, because not only do we have the sun in opposition, but we also have Pluto in opposition. Think of Pluto as Hades. It's like the underworld. It's dark. It's dense. It's like you can't see the forest for the trees, as they say, right? But what it gives us the opportunity is, comadres, when you're manifesting tonight, I want you to think about, if what I'm being asked to do is nourish my dreams, nourish my feelings, what do I get to transform? Pluto is transformation, and it's in Capricorn, which is the doing. So my request of you, or my reflection for you to think about, is what do you get to transform in your doing, so you can be in the flow with your being, so you can be tapped into your intuition, so you can start really accessing and seeing your dreams for what they are, and be in the creation of your dreams clearly and not from a mechanical place. Now, it gets better. Aún hay más. We still have more that's in the cosmic air, because here we are going, hey, we really have these two things going. We can do something cool with our dreams, and we have two retrogrades. So I want to bring into the space the idea of the retrograde, because we often look as retrogrades as like, oh my God, I can't do anything, panic mode, hide in your bunker. And I want to start having us see the retrogrades as the coaching moment, as the break. It's like the necessary breakdown in the theme of that planet and that sign for the breakthroughs that we get to have. So by the way, a lot of the transformation that we get to have with Pluto in Capricorn and Venus in retrograde in Capricorn is we get to transform and we get to reevaluate. So think of the retrogrades as reevaluation, like a recap, like it's let it break down so you can reevaluate and then move forward. So we have Venus, the planet of our values. Yeah, she's a planet of love, and she's like, the empress of the zodiac, but she's our values. Where do we place our money? Where do we invest our time? Where do we invest ourselves? Where do we invest our thoughts? What do I value? What do I hold as a value system? And guess where she is? She's in Capricorn. Capricorn, once again, the patriarchy, the father, the tradition. She's the 9-to-5 job. She's the doing it the way everyone else has been doing it before. So I don't know, I'm curious to hear in the comments or like raise of like in your reactions, and we'll definitely talk about it afterwards. But if you are having almost like an existential crisis about like, what do I really even care about in this lifetime right now? That's what Venus is having you reevaluate. So as you go into this full moon with nourishing your dreams, nourishing your emotions, allowing your emotions to come through, this is a very important time to ask yourself, where am I placing my values? What am I investing my time in? What am I investing my energy in? Do I believe in this? Or was this the patriarchy give this to me? Like, do I really believe in this? Like, I think of that TikTok, am I the toxic one? Like, you might be the toxic one, right? And you get to be like, do I want to continue to be the toxic one? Am I going to perpetuate the toxicity that this tradition gave to me? Because what the moon is asking us right now is like, girl, follow your intuition. It's not about the tradition anymore. The tradition is holding you back. The tradition could be holding you back. And you know what? It might not even be the tradition that's holding you back. There might be an aspect of the tradition that's holding you back. And this is a moment to reevaluate where you are placing your values, your investments, your money, your security, your safety, your sense of safety in. And the beautiful thing is with the moon, you get to let it flow. You get to go, you know what? Come through me. If you got to cry it out, cry it out. If you got to feel your feels, feel it, because that's part of your ability to access the lesson of this retrograde. And as y'all know, we also have Mercury in retrograde. So guess what? You might put your foot in your mouth, and that's okay. You might accidentally send a typo in a very important message to your email list. And it's exactly what you need to do to reevaluate the value system with that Venus in retrograde, and to understand where you get to go next with your words, your thoughts, your communication as we nourish your feelings. So it could get messy, but like we get to start loving the messy too. Because the patriarchy tells us it has to be in the box, it has to look clean, it has to be perfect, and I think this is an opportunity to start getting out of that box, that it has to look a certain way, that it has to feel a certain way. Actually, that it has to look or do a certain way, because Cancer is saying what matters is how do you feel? It could be messy, but are you starting to feel the way you're supposed to feel? And so it's an opportunity to create awareness. We get to create awareness on what are our values? What are we saying? And where do we get to go with what we have been handed down as traditions? And lean into our intuition more than these experiences. So my call to action, I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Really, the biggest thing is, you get to, you know what the other thing is? With the sun opposing the moon. So the sun is in Capricorn, which is tradition, the patriarchy. What does patriarchy say? Don't cry, suck it up and keep on going. But the moon is saying you get to feel your feels. So if you start pushing yourself to a place where you're like, my feelings don't matter, break that thought and allow your feelings to come through. This is an opportunity for an emotional breakthrough. We love our rituals. I love bringing in ritual space, and the number one ritual experience is all water, because I think what we're looking at is that Cancer moon and how it's trining really nicely with that Pisces Neptune, the dreams. So if you're like trying to really tap into where you get to go with your dreams, where you get to go with your vision, where you get to go next, where you get to flow into next, then the invitation is to begin to access the water element. So you get to access the flow. So Kimberly already started us off with baths. So obviously bath rituals are fantastic. I invite you to bring in and use your intuition. Do you want to bring in flowers? Bring in flowers. Do you want to bring in essential oils? Bring in essential oils. Do you just want to marinate in water? Marinate in the water. But tap into the water. Now, some of us might not have tubs. Some of us might be like, we want water, but I don't want to sit in a tub because it's cold outside, right? Whatever it is, there are other ways to tap into water rituals. One of my favorite water rituals, clear glass, and I have the blur, so I'm going to bring it here. Clear glass, fill it with water, put it out with an intention. Maybe in a Post-it note, maybe you write out all your dreams. You put that out in the moon water and on your windowsill or wherever the moon is. and let the water begin to nourish you with those intentions, and drink it in the morning. Don't wait too many days, like drink it in the morning. Like don't just leave it out there. So write the intention, get clear on the intention. Maybe the intention is I need to get clear, right? The other thing is go with your intuition. Ask the moon, start tapping, allow these rituals not to be a fixed experience, but a play experience where you communicate with the moon, with the universe, and see how she communicates back. You know, you might be like, hey, I have no idea what I want to write. I would love, for my intention is that you show me a sign of where I get to go. And as you place that overnight, you might get a dream. Literally, because you've got Neptune and Pisces, you might get a dream as you set that intention with that water. Maybe it's you get a sign when you wake up, but allow yourself to release the expectation, but put in the intention and flow with where it takes you. And the last thing that I'd love to say is tomorrow we have Mercury sextile Chiron. So trine is super favorable aspect. Sextile is another favorable aspect. Chiron is the wounded healer. And Chiron for the next few years is an Aries. So what our collective is doing for the next few years is really healing who we are. Because Aries is the self. And we're going to be in, Mercury is going to be like, Mercury, thoughts, words, is going to be in a favorable aspect with healing parts of ourselves. So as you set your intention and you go into this energy, I also like, I want you to think about, what do I get to say to myself to heal? What do I get to think about myself to heal parts of myself? And typically right now, the healing that's probably going to come in is through the retrogrades. It's through the Venus retrograde in Capricorn. So Venus, our values, in Capricorn, the traditions. Where do I get to heal who I am when it comes to my value systems? And the other thing we didn't talk about is Mercury is actually retrograde. Where's she retrograde? She's retrograde in Aquarius. If you don't know about Aquarius, this is a feisty combination, by the way, because Mercury, planet of communication, fast, multiple, like it runs laps around the sun more than anyone else. Aquarius is the punk rock rebel of the zodiac. She's like, you're not going to tell me what to do. So we've got our words retrograde in the most rebellious, rampant sign of the zodiac. So don't be surprised if you also get to say, how am I using my words? Am I using my words to rebel against myself, against the collective, to create resistance to me? Like really think about how your words, now this is not to say you can't be rebellious, because girl, I am the first one to support a rebellion, especially if it's like pro women or pro good cause. And at the same time, we get to make sure that what is the purpose and how is it right now for tomorrow with this moon in our nourishment, but Mercury sextiling the Chiron in Aries, how are you using your words and your thoughts to heal who you are? Are you using your words? Because Aquarius is a visionary. Aquarius is the type of energy that's doing now what people will be doing 5 years from now. She's like the early adopter energetically of the zodiac, right? She's the first one to get the new iPhone, the new gadget, whatever. But even energetically, she's doing things that people are going to be doing in 5 years. And so you get to say, how do I get to heal who I think I am so I can be now who I think I'm going to be in 5 years? So that I'm not waiting for that perceived shift to make it happen. You could start embodying the beginning of who you get to be in this Chiron healing phase through aligning your thoughts and your words. And allow the moon to nourish you to feel it out. Let the moon feel it out. Let it be messy, because the moon's going to wash off any of the dirt. The moon is in water. You get messy today and tomorrow, y'all. It's okay. The moon's going to wash it right off. It's not going to stick. And whatever sticks is what you get to look at and examine. That's the only way to look at these transits. It's not sticking because you made a mistake. It's sticking because it's what you left unexamined. And that's the best way to look at the retrogrades and any transit that feels a little sticky. And on that note, that is my very quick and passionate moon report in Cancer. It's very clear that the main two themes are Cancer and Capricorn really working against each other, right? Like we get to reconcile the feminine and the masculine, the doing versus the being, the feeling versus the mechanics. And when we really get clear on that, we can tap into our dreams at Neptune in Pisces. And we get to really then even support our thoughts about who we be tomorrow with the sextile in Mercury. And I cannot wait to hear what you create. Comadres who are watching the replay, you can always reach out to me on Mighty Networks or on social media. And now I'm going to stop the replay and hang out with the comadres who are here. If you are watching this on any other platform and you want to learn more about the comadres, please let us know. And we can't wait to see you at the next Moon Report. So I'm going to stop the recording. Yeah.